Hello, and welcome to the GFW Radio. That's Games for Windows Radio podcast for Friday the 12th of January 2007. And this, as you might have guessed, is not Jeff Green.
Oh, you know what? You should have totally done, and I'm Jeff Green. And then they said, no, I'm Jeff Green.
Yeah, there we go. So this week, we are the ship without a captain. And we'll explain that in a minute. Let's first say who's here on the ship. The mutineers are me, Shawn Elliott.
Darren Gladstone,
Ryan Scott,
and Sean Malloy.
And why are we here without a captain, gentlemen?
Because Jeff has debilitating pneumonia, which is awesome.
Which isn't funny.
Yeah, as you start cracking up.
That's ill.
that
is ill.
Sucks.
No, so yeah, he's came back from his holiday break, and instead of being rejuvenated,
yeah, I remember he came back in the office like the first day, and he had the sweats, and we were trying to get stuff done, and I think we were all like, just dude, just go home, rest.
Yeah,
not looking good the day he was here.
Yeah, so
and then as
get
it
well,
turned
Jeff.
out,
get well soon, buddy.
Right when we were shipping our issues, so we just shipped our. I'm confused. We shipped our March issue.
March issue just shipped off to the printers.
Jeff would check in now and then to make sure everything was going fine. And then right after that, it was a skeleton crew even more because, Darren, you went to CES, and we'll be talking about that today.
Yep.
And so mainly that's what we're going to be talking about today. Since we're just getting our shit back together, we'll clear up some rumors about Hellgate, talk about what Darren saw and what he lost at Consumer Electronics.
Besides my sanity.
And then, a little of our usual now playing, but flip the order. Do that last today.
Keep you on your toes, kids. Hey.
So
that's what happens without Jeff.
So first off, what's the big rumor about Hellgate?
Okay, so actually this
news,
rumored news, and this is quality reporting all around. So this actually all happened on the show floor at CES in the Microsoft booth. They have a bunch of games going on, on display, and Roper was showing off Hellgate, and I think some dude from Shack News, Chris, if I'm not mistaken, he's talking to Roper and getting a story, and I'm actually standing right behind these two while the interview is going on, and I don't know where the information came from, but there's some kind of rumor out there that Hellgate's going to be a paid-for MMO, and I think it was strictly a misquote or just taken out of context, because not only do I know that's not the case, I mean later that day, I'm hanging out with Bryce from over at EA, and he's like getting the first emails back from people about the whole deal.
Yeah, and he's scandalous at the time.
It was totally scandalous, and he's going, "What the hell?" Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's such a non.
So basically, what happened here with this whole thing is that there was an equivalent of the Chinese Whisper got started, and someone read what you're about to explain what the actual content of the message was, but it was read as this is going to be an MMO all of a sudden, and not only that, you're going to have to pay a monthly fee for it. And then due to the Chinese Whisper's nature of online reporting, that proliferated. Everyone wanted to get clicks from the story, so just reproduce the story, change the byline, and then now, by the end of the day, it stood that all of a sudden...
And now it's fact. I mean, that's a whole other tirade that I could spend a whole hour just going on, how inaccurate internet reporters just need to go away and die in flames because
in some weird way it's like if you go to supermarket tabloids or something, it's like who can come up with the most absurd headline or whatever, and the idea is you just want to sell the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether or not you're reporting what's news or what's true or anything. It's just that you get those clicks. And so, yeah, it's kind of scary. I mean, it kind of polices itself out. There's so many people out there, and that becomes another story.
Right, I know. But
you can end up getting clicks by saying the other clicks that the other person got were bullshit, and they were based on lies.
But the problem, it's but the thing is, then suddenly you're convicted in the eyes, in the public eye. Mm-hmm. And it's the rumor is out there, so it's got to be true. Mm-hmm. And then you have to spend your whole day doing damage control for something that is that shouldn't have been out there in the first place.
There's some people that aren't going to come back and check, or they're going to miss the story that explains. So you're here with the explanatory story. What the hell? What are they going to charge for?
They're going to charge for a damn game, a box. I mean, basically, they've said this pretty much from the beginning. I mean that.
We're all pausing this. Ryan, who's smartly dressed in a full suit and tie today.
Yeah, he looks like somewhere between Reservoir Dogs and Elite Beat Agent.
And he's just sort of rolling his eyes the whole time. No idea why.
He doesn't like Hellgate.
Eyeball calisthenics.
No, but I mean, it's just kind of like I don't even want to get too deep into it because it's such a non-story. I mean, really, it's stuff that they've talked about ad nauseum already.
But I thought you were saying earlier to me that maybe the idea was that they would charge for additional content.
Well, right. But the thing is that they haven't even figured out how they want to roll out that, like digital distribution or expansions.
They're thinking they don't want to do like an expansion a year kind of mentality. They want to do smaller ones over the course of.
Well, they're trying to. They're still trying to figure it out. And they're leaving it wide open. They haven't gone into any of those details yet. But that's like post-release stuff.
That is maybe what they were talking about with the fee. Was maybe this stuff will be.
That's exactly it. Like there's a lot of hypotheticals out there of how it's going to work. But like the one thing they want to make sure of is that it's just kind of like an open world. You're kind of like. It's like it's not. I mean, how is it? Guild Wars is working, right? I mean.
Right.
I mean that you pay once.
Okay, so. All right.
So
there's that.
So basically, non-story.
Hellgate closed. What else?
Hellgate closed. But it is launching in 2000. It is launching this summer. That is the official word.
We'll see.
And they're going. No, they're saying it. And
we have so many games that we're now being promised will come out this summer that we had been promised would have come out this past.
Well,
fall.
I think that. Well, you know what? So, I think that's the case. I mean, it's like that missing that Christmas window means we're gonna have some good games for the summer, which I'm all for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It happens year in, year out. This is not new. This is not a new trend by any means. I mean, you go back in
well, you remember that
CGW magazine in the pipeline section, and you could always guarantee that whatever month you're reading does the dates as the launch dates. You add a year or two.
Well,
so whatever
you know what, actually, one thing I always enjoyed was how what was it? A game would be they'd say it's coming out in December, January, and then invariably it comes out in March, and like holy shit, a good game came out in March.
Right.
It's about damn time. I mean, like, stop releasing like 20 great games in September, October, November, and you might actually have people buying Beyond Good and Evil.
This is true.
Okay, but enough of that tirade.
That reminds me. On that same category. I'll come back to it later, and they're now playing. But Stalker fits that bill.
Yeah.
And I got a bill to that, and I was playing it. But
I saw you playing that yesterday.
So what else? What else you got to come back from CES?
Okay, I played Crysis. It is all. I played through the demo area 3 times. It is pretty.
And is
that
the stuff we've been seeing in videos for those of us who didn't get to go?
Yeah, it's really cool.
The helicopter fight and
the helicopter. The AI on that helicopter is pretty good. It's pretty good. Almost like a little too good still, but like you have to like lead it a little, and it's still kind of if you don't if it's too far away, it'll see the rocket coming in and it'll just do an evasive maneuver.
Cool.
And the superpowers are pretty cool. There's still a little tweaking that they need to fix on the levels, but like you jack up super strength and you can like lift up a barrel and just chuck it across the area at somebody.
Right.
I lifted up a Humvee and launched it.
Mm-hmm.
But
are there limits to that? I mean, is there like an equivalent of a stamina meter for when you're using those powers?
Yeah,
or do you have unlimited access?
Oh no, it is like a stamina meter. So basically, I was talking to Shabbat about this.
Okay.
Or actually, Chabot, I believe is how his.
Shabbat.
Shabbat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so well, man, I have stories I can't tell about him, but hanging out with him at night.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, the way he was explaining it to me was people can do like almost like a combo system. So basically, like if you work it out right, you can go from super speed, knock that into strength, and he was seeing people on the show floor doing combo moves where they sprint really quick up to something, grab a barrel, switch over to strength, throw it, and then it just kind of like and then work it so the depletion on the energy meter would just work out perfectly for like pulling out these cool deals.
Yeah, it's interesting. That's as long as there's a meter, because say if there is no meter, you might as well almost just enable
the game would be broken.
All those at once anyway. But yeah, I mean, since it's easy, what you do is you push down the mouse wheel, brings up the rosette, kind of like in Battlefield, and if you're used to playing that and giving commands really quick, you know just how rapidly you can switch between them.
Yeah, it was really
move it in one of the different directions and let go of mouse 3, and all of a sudden you're stronger, you're faster.
It made total sense. I mean, and like just being able to switch between all the powers and the weapons, and just the way you interact with the world's great. I can't wait to play it.
That game is one of those when something console land is when a next generation because they're clearly demarcated when there's a new generation something comes out. But when you get that tech lust and you see it and you're like, God, I gotta play that. Like you don't even care. You just imagine in your head like that comes out, taking a couple days off, and I'm just gonna sit there and look at every flower and like punch every wall just to see what happens. I mean, I'm totally getting that just watching it.
Are you gonna have a PC that's gonna be able to run this damn thing?
Yeah, I'll make it happen.
I'm worried.
That's like one of those, like, for Half-Life 2. It's like, hey, that was the question. It's not if I'm. It's just like, yeah, well, when's the game coming out? So I have to have.
And that's
the PC
and especially after the. I mean, I don't want to jump too far ahead because I want to focus on the games. But there was, with the Wintel announcements at the show Vista, officially of the official launch of Quad-Core gaming. Mm-hmm. I mean, basically, I'm telling people, wait. Just wait until the prices start coming down on the quad cores,
right?
And wait until Crysis is out because that's going to sell systems.
Mm-hmm.
DX10 all over that.
Yeah. So DX10 was everywhere.
Well,
at the show this year, right?
Well, I wouldn't say everywhere. I mean, it wasn't fully. The only game that I saw it fully implemented in was Age of Conan, which is another good game that I was checking out at the show.
Okay.
And that's kind of one of those. We've covered it a couple times, like in little drips and drabs, but it's like one of those. I think it has a potentially like one of those sleeper games that. I mean, I was just you couldn't help but just stare at it.
There were two games that surprised me. Both you and John Davison, who's part of the Ziff Davis game group, came back and said, "Hey, guess what? Age of Conan and lo and behold, Shadowrun.
I was going to say
are looking really cool.
I'm about to totally eat my words from previous podcasts. I mean,
so why is Shadowrun looking?
You know what? Graphically, it still has to. It's still getting beefed up. I think it's on for March release, March, April, something like that.
Maybe.
It's it's just a fun multiplayer shooter. I mean, the implementation of powers on top of it is just kind of interesting. One of the magic abilities is teleport, for example. So it's like a short form teleport. You can jump ahead or wherever, up, down, whatever. So imagine instead of bunny hopping, you're teleporting around someone as you're shooting them.
So how does that work? Do you point at a spot and hit?
Well, if you're walking forward, you hit the teleport button. You jump ahead. You pushing back. You jump back.
That would be fun to do when you're the one teleporting. But how annoying is it when you're fighting someone that just keeps popping in and out?
Well, that's true. I mean, it's all the balancing. I mean, I was playing the PC version and the 360 version.
And you could do that while you're fighting.
Yeah.
Because obviously teleportation's been a big part of the Unreal series since inception.
Well, I mean,
and it's also been part of Quake. However, in Quake, it's just an escape teleport. You pick up the power up and you hit the button and you randomly jump somewhere.
Right. It was an escape teleport to a limited degree, or a tactical move in UT.
And, UT you could use it as a weapon if you were good enough.
Yeah. But the thing is, here, you're unable to do from the beginning. Not from the beginning, but if you pick this power,
right?
I mean, that is a part of the gameplay. And then there's other stuff too. There's vision enhancement, so you can see through, sharper vision, shoot through walls, whatever. See through walls, rather. I mean, I think
this is the hard part about this game, is because whenever someone describes it, whenever you look at the screens, you're like,
what's so special?
What's the big deal? And I totally believe you, just because of games that's the same thing. I was playing Open Arena all morning.
Yeah, no kidding.
Quake 3 Arena. And that's one of those games where it doesn't matter. I mean, even now, it just doesn't matter that, it's got the essential weapons that you have in every game, and there's nothing but some mazes to go around and blow the shit out of each other, because it's just so much fun. But when you tell people, I mean, imagine writing a preview on that game now. You're like, okay, so you got these mazes, and you got a machine gun, and you got a rocket launcher, and there's these little teleporters you can go in, and you just go around and you blow people up.
And you know what? I think the trick. I know it's
that game.
It's so it's so hard to get behind it. But I mean, when you start describing it, but it's just fun. I mean, you sit your ass down at the controls, and it's just like going back to the Quake 3 days when you're there and it's very simple. It's I always said from the beginning it was like Counter-Strike with fireballs and shit. But
was the Live Anywhere hooked up?
Well, yeah, it was PC guys playing against each other and 360 guys, and it was just happening.
I saw in the videos there's some pretty vicious aim assist on the console version.
They're tweaking that. Actually, I was talking to
vicious as in
might as well not even be playing it.
yeah. Training wheels and a half. I mean, you look and the guy's the opponent's jumping and using his glider ability, and you just see the crosshair walking itself, across the screen to chase the guy.
Yeah, I mentioned that to those guys. I mean, they're obviously still tweaking it, but I think the important part is they want to keep it balanced, just accuracy versus just too much of a hand holding thing.
Right.
So did the PC version feel like something was missing? Because it was obviously being made for a 362.
No, it felt like a first-person shooter. It felt like any other shooter that I'd had. I mean, my only regret is that it's such a deep, rich world that they're playing with here, and they could have done so much more. And I was talking to Mitch. I think it's Gittleman. I'm blanking right now, but the guys from Day One Studios. These are guys who were previously they did the Mech Commander games, and the first thing I said to him was Mech Commander 3. Let's do that. Because I love that series. If you ever check that out, it's an awesome RTS game. But
Blast from the Past.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like these guys have worked with Fastest stuff for years, so they know the deal, and they understand the material, and I think there's a lot of potential. I think there's potential here, as long as people give it the try.
Yeah, now that you mentioned Fastest
You're
stuff,
not
does
alone.
it feel
You're
at
not
all?
going out on a limb.
Does it feel at all like a Shadowrun game, or is it when you're playing it, you're thinking, yeah, this is Shadowrun, or are you thinking like,
No.
yeah, this is an FPS?
You know what?
A lot of the criticism I've seen is because it's not an RPG.
That's
People are
exactly
down
it.
on it.
I think the problem is I only played like one or two arenas, and typically to me Shadowrun is like these dark, cyberpunky, magical kind of things, and I didn't have enough of that feel. It's kind of the way Mitch described it to me when I was playing the game. He was saying it's like, imagine like you go on these you're going on those covert missions, like you'd go in and try to hack a computer or something. This is the result of the escape. This action is like what would happen in the escape part or whatever.
Right.
So that's the way he was kind of describing like a scenario. So, I mean, does it feel totally like it? Not 100%, because you know what? I still maintain if you check out the Half-Life 2 mod Dystopia, there's some really cool hacking in there, and you've played it, right,
yeah.
Shawn? Mm-hmm. So I mean, like, if they did more of that, I'd be really psyched.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, yeah, like in that game, actually, there's a cyberspace. There's a
whole virtual world you go
what's
through.
already the virtual
Yeah,
space.
because that's like a big
playing.
part, at least in my head, of what Shadowrun is.
Well, that's the whole thing. That's I guess it's perspective of like what people like. I mean, like because the game was so vastly different, you could play it however you wanted.
Right.
And there was a very big cyberpunk element. There was also this high fantasy meets with the real world element too. So I just wish there was more of that cyberpunk stuff. What else did I see? Next. Okay, Hellgate check. World in Conflict. Yes, that game looked awesome. They were having some computer problems. Like the two times I walked by, I kept like overheating because the way they built the booth. But the game looks sweet and fully DX10 compliant. So it's going to have all the bells and whistles. And now you know how and they're saying this should be possible. Dual screen. Now I think it's it sounds kind of silly that I even care about this now. But ever since Supreme Commander, I can see so much potential in this.
Who do you know has a 2-screen setup?
I do.
Darren.
I actually,
people are much more likely to have two monitors side by side than they are two televisions.
That is
for the record.
Well, I got
that is true.
And also, I got
for the record.
You know what, guys?
Well, because everyone's trying to do it with. I mean, shit, they try to get you to do it with three of them.
Yeah.
Those racing games.
Yeah.
On,
like PS2 games.
Well, Shawn, you played Supreme Commander, Shawn.
I did.
And
that one would definitely benefit from two monitors.
Right, because I mean, you were telling me how like, and I totally believe it, how. As you're playing on one monitor, you basically start playing the whole game from that satellite view, and you don't appreciate all the cool graphics that are happening because you have to operate everything at the...
That's some sorry shit, though. You know when mom, and I say this for like the 35-year-old dude who lives with mom, and she comes in, and he's sitting there...
How many 35-year-old dudes do
just like, no, but just drowning in Taco Bell wrappers. He's got like two of his monitors there, and each is a different readout, and he's like scanning around and like choking on his own ham rolls,
Okay, I have two tangents to go on one.
Mm-hmm.
Try taking a Taco Bell hot sauce packet sometime and put it on a really rusty penny. That's your Mr. Wizard science.
Taco Bell tastes like a penny.
Now you know why.
That shit tastes like a penny.
And it
Sean's
costs a
eyes
penny.
just got really wide.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Just solved one of the universe.
And then, I got the two monitors, and like Amy, my fiance, she's like, "Are you a freaking stockbroker now? You retard! What the hell
yeah,
you do?"
that's what I'm. That's bad.
But you know what? I got to tell you though.
that.
Actually, so for listeners out there who are anywhere near a Costco, I got two monitors for $250 a piece. So like it's not that expensive. So you can get a good sized 22-inch monitor, put them both together and get
flat screen.
Flat screen, yeah.
Like not CRT ones.
22-inch with 16:10 resolution.
Rock it like it's a DS.
Yeah,
just do it.
I'll be touching one screen.
Just get used to it.
And yeah, I mean it's obviously hardcore, not for everyone, but I'm looking forward to it.
Speaking of things that you bought recently, I heard you lost some stuff.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thanks for bringing up that fond memory, you piece of crap.
There's another before. Like you need a moment to collect yourself on that. So as we like stall on what Darren lost, we got to talk about what's up. What's this message I'm getting?
Oh, this is the break message.
Oh, we were that was the weirdest break. I think you told me to steal second.
I'm going to hold the break off 1 minute because
Okay.
I need to tell you.
Please.
This is very important now. Okay, so to go with those two monitors, we have another offering coming out in PC Land, Darren, and you know about this. This is for all you railroad conductor fanatics.
I know this one.
Basically, what you do is you buy this hardware, and it's flashing lights that you set up in your room,
Ambience,
and a fan that blows on you. So as you're simulating conducting a train, which as far as I'm aware, consists of pulling a lever up or down, but it's blowing in your face, and it's flashing lights to put you in an epileptic seizure, whatever you need. And
yeah, that's actually...
So that, now we can take the break.
Okay, well, that'll be the cliffhanger. That'll make people want to come back.
Come back for that and find out where you can buy it.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. But as long as you're here, let me tell you about EGM Live, the weekly podcast from the editors of Electronic Gaming Monthly, along with the wonderful sounds of... EGM Live comes action-packed with special guests, late-breaking news, fanboy-baiting commentary, behind-the-scenes tales of office tomfoolery, and trivia contests with fantabulous prizes. Download it now at egmlive.oneup.com or subscribe to it through iTunes.
EGM Live is part of the 1UP Radio Network, taped in the Ziff Davis offices in San Francisco. It is not actually live, and contest prizes are not guaranteed to be fantabulous.
And we're back.
We are back.
Oh, thank you. That was good.
So,
do you just still want to go into that?
I just need to put that out there. I mean, because that's a pretty cool. That's a pretty cool.
Pretty awesome. I mean, that's like innovation of the year.
Oh yeah, it's almost as good as the eye smell, the eye scent. You ever hear that?
I don't know about that.
Well,
I can picture it.
That made the cover of Wired magazine years ago. Like, this is this whole thing they were talking about doing, where basically it would like simulate smells, and I felt this little odor projector that would be
right. And you hook this up to your TV or your
you hook
PC.
it up to your PC, and like you're playing a game. Like let's say you're like let's say you're going through the sewers. Put this
I know, it starts like smell of rotting corpses.
McDonald's.
It sounds awesome.
It smells like Uncle Howie in the
How can I not want
project.
that?
It would smell like Ryan's house or something. I don't know. No, anyway, so this it was Philips Electronics is doing this. It's called Ambix or whatever the hell they're calling it, and they're selling these lights and fans, and they're trying to put this API in a bunch of games. I think they demoed one for me. I could have sworn it was like Company Heroes even.
The fan blowing on you. It's like a shell comes in. That was a howitzer shell just went by you, and you feel like this little.
Well, you know what? That was all a while ago, and I know we're getting a review unit in a little bit, so I'll set up in my office. We'll have a fanning
Go
session
in there. Nice. I know who to crop dust then. I'll hook you up on the outside of that fan.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
Moment of uncomfortable silence. So, what did you lose at CES?
Okay, here's a travel tip for everyone. Make sure if you're leaving your room for any period of time to put anything valuable in the safe. So, my digital camera, my recorder, my DS, and all its games, all gone.
Oh.
Yeah, so that was fun. I was pretty happy. So basically, all my interviews, all the pictures I took at the show, all gone.
It's like you weren't even there.
It's like maybe I wasn't.
And aside from that, you had, which was due for this issue. So, folks, here's a story that was meant to be. And weeks and weeks ago, you had an extended interview with one John Carmack. So that was not backed up as far as we know right now.
I'm trying to recover it from an old.
So
computer.
someone's jamming to that, playing your DS, and
well, actually, that's a good point. So if someone actually posts that interview with John Carmack,
it had all the details of his next game, like down to the design documents, all on that.
Now you just stirring shit up. Next thing you know. Plans out there.
I know. Well, now everyone, all those bloggers can just make up what they want. John Carmack's game revealed. It's I don't know, what is it? It's a train conductor simulator
for cell phones.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So that sucks. So John, anyone over at the PR firm, Wendy, if you hear this, I need to make another phone call at some point. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I can find it. Anyway, so seriously, guys. That sucked.
So that was in the middle of the day?
No, what happened was I got in. I dropped off my bags. I'm like, okay, I gotta go. Came back. I grabbed my stuff for day one. Went back to the room, dropped it off, and then when day two came up, I had to go with interviews and stuff, and it was already gone. Like I don't know.
But there was no sign of forced entry, right?
No,
so this is clearly they had either
thing is,
access to the key card or they have something that can basically do the same duty as a key card.
They didn't have any records of unusual activity. They didn't have any I checked with hotel security. They didn't have any unusual records of what happened. So I'm just like, well, I mean, like what can I do? So I went out and bought a DS and
maybe it was whoever you were sharing that room with, man.
No.
You need to think about that.
No.
We know, Darren.
Trying to blame housekeeping.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping. I play your DS.
Oh,
yeah.
Darren, why you gotta do that? Why'd you do that, man? It's so uncomfortable right now.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. I'm just
I
watching
know.
Ryan.
Yeah, so I'm
Ryan, let's hear from you. Like, talk it. What's on your mind right now, dude? You just do nothing the whole podcast but make faces.
Thinking about taquitos.
What's behind that?
I'm tired today.
All right, good man. Have some more Red Bull.
Yeah, we got Red Bull here.
There is a lot of Red Bull on the
so
table.
besides the games that were on the show floor, I'll just quickly run through. So basically, it was like the Intel show because the big news was obviously Vista, which is going to be launching the end of this month. Intel officially rolled out the quad-core CPU, and they had a bunch of computers on the show floor that were flossing it. I mean, I think there was one system that even had 8 core. It was like over the top, down the road kind of stuff.
What is that, octa-core?
Exactly. No, but I'm just saying the whole point there is this is the year everyone was talking about what the PC can do in your home. Whether it's a media center, it's the center of your networked home.
Refrigerator.
Seriously, I mean, that's all. I mean, the thing is, they've been having this convergence talk for 10 years. It's like everyone fell asleep 5 years ago and said, "Hey, this whole convergence thing's kind of cool," and they woke up before the show and said, "Let's try it now." So everyone has these weird approaches. Like Samsung is making a wireless TV so that you can hook up your Blu-ray player without having to plug in wires. It'll transmit all the data to your TV. So it's stuff like that. That's kind of interesting, but at the same point, this year is kind of there was no one big electronics thing, and everyone said, "Holy crap, I got to get that." And then was it day 2 of the show? Apple
did the iPhone
announces the iPhone, and then there's tumbleweeds at the show. And
I should have brought it in. You had, speaking of convergence, you brought the flyer in for the PDA that also has a breathalyzer.
Yeah,
an alcohol breathalyzer.
Yeah,
that's the kind of convergence I'm talking about.
Yeah, actually, there's the MP3 playing. There's an MP3 playing breathalyzer. So it's if you're too drunk, dude, turn off the Sinatra.
If this song sounds good, I wonder how drunk I really am.
Dude,
there we go.
Right. That's Ali and AJ. Shit, I better turn that off.
Does it select a song based on your drunk level?
I don't know. I was fascinated by that one. Oh, they also the same company also makes a kissometer. It tests your breath for how bad it is.
Oh, okay. I thought it was one of those things you get in bars where you hold the thing. It's like cold fish.
That should be a mandatory thing for all gamers. You have to buy the breath of the kissometer.
That is convergence, everyone. This is CES.
My friend, that is the future. So yeah, that's the quick and dirty 2-second report. Bigger TVs, $80,000 808-inch TVs.
Are there any robots that vacuum for you?
Oh yeah, there's the Roombas of the world. There's all that crazy stuff. I mean, the funny thing was I ran into a buddy of mine from Competing Magazine. I asked, "So, hey man, you having a good show?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm seeing so much great stuff." I'm like, "Are you at the same show?" I mean, basically a lot of stuff was just rehashed from last year. Or E3. I mean, they had the Nova Falcon on display, which still looks cool.
Right. Do they have any new apps for that thing?
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, for everyone, the Nova Falcon is a haptic interface where basically you hold a ball and it becomes your controller. You can use it for PC games, and it creates the sensation of various textures in your hands, various weights and resistances.
Yeah.
So if you picked up a physical object in Half-Life 2, it felt like you were lifting something, or you could throw a ball and catch a ball, and it just sort of rocks back. So, anything new with it this year?
Well, they're still kind of coming along. Their original hopes were to get it out before Christmas, but that just wasn't in the cards. It's looking more like Q3, maybe $100 tops. But you know what? If there's going to be a mouse replacement, this is pretty damn sweet. Now, just to give you a full explanation, if you haven't you look it up online, it's 3 tensor arms. Each one
connected to a motor.
Exactly, and each one actually is 3 separate motors.
Right. So
each one's self-actuated, and it totally it's just awesome. I was playing a basketball game where you lift it up and you're gonna raise and lower the arm.
Most people aren't aware of the mechanisms inside. They go to pick it up and it just seems like some sort of magic,
Right, but the fact is, you actually, it feels like you have something in your hand.
Right, and when you let go of it, you feel the release of tension.
Exactly, and that's just so damn cool.
It's not going to make you. I don't think it's going to make you. I mean, in terms of immersion, it's definitely a huge enhancement. It's not going to enhance your performance.
Oh no,
in a game or whatever.
So basically, you have that. You couple it with some blowers. Some colored lights,
you have it,
and then you're in the Matrix, man. That's it.
Support is obviously the make or break thing for that thing.
What's
going to be supported?
Well, exactly. The thing was, they said that it's it took one guy a week Well, not even that. Like a really short period of time to add the API into Half-Life 2. Mm-hmm. So if that was the actions of one man at this, who's just working on this on his own.
Right.
I mean, imagine if you had like a team of guys, or if you had the API already built and you could pass it on. Like if you make one for the Unreal 3 engine, it's going to be instantly embedded into how many different games.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But here's the other thing too, to fully and wholly utilize this thing. I mean, like, let's look at examples of like Nintendo, because they're usually go out on a limb and introduce a new interface first, or at least they have recently, with both the DS and the Wii. Mm-hmm. So if you're a company and you're like, okay, we can in a day we can more or less convert the controls of this game to the Wii remote or something, like Splinter Cell, which is what they did. That alone isn't what you then have is the same game that works with that.
You need an application that shows off what it does.
You'd want to essentially create a game that relies on your intuitive sense of weight and texture. I mean, you could even solve puzzles just exclusively by running your hand over them.
And they already
like find the key taped underneath the desk by just running your hand underneath the desk, and you could do something like that.
Absolutely.
But to really do that, you'd have to have a whole lot of investment in it, and that assumes that there's enough people, that the product has already hit critical mass where enough people have it where it's going to drive sales, right?
And
so you've got that chicken and egg problem there where, like, neither the chicken never hatches and the chicken never lays an egg, and nothing,
No, and you're totally right. And the thing is, I think they realize that as well. And that's why they're making smart partnerships with companies where it makes sense. So, like, AGA right now is kind of in that same boat.
That was the next thing.
So they're actually working together to a degree. I mean, if you take a look at they were demoing S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Factor.
Right.
That's the showcase game for what AGA physics can do. Now, imagine you add the AGA physics and the ability to feel the weight of each of the objects you're manipulating. Mm-hmm. That's like the first step.
That would be really cool.
So there's already a bunch of games that are actually doing it. Like there's been some news leaking out about NetDevil's next game, Warmonger.
Yeah, I was like, before I heard about that, I mean, I was ready to just assume that the whole physics card thing is just dead in the water now, because with quad core being able to handle the same, physics applications and distribute them, it's like, okay, well, why do we need the card anymore? So
well,
it kind of sucked, because it was like,
well, maybe you don't need the card. And the thing is, that's kind of what's smart about the physics API, is that it's Novadeck software. Basically, it's a competitor of Havok. Mm-hmm. That's what's being used for AGA's physics. So basically, if you don't have the card, it still works. Mm-hmm. Physics, the physics application is still residing on your computer, and it's going to work, and it's going to do physics. So you have software solution. The hardware is just like an added bonus. So basically, if you had quad core in physics, and PHYX, if you had those, it's still gonna work. So you're covered either way.
Right. But in terms of selling, I mean,
it's selling the hardware.
That's not enough to sell another card for your
right. But I'm just saying, like, I hope that
let's turn. This is our chance. Let's turn this to like the One Up Your show or something.
Shit sucks.
What have we been missing yet? You've got to irrationally care a whole hell of a lot for the PhysX card, and I'll be out to hate. All right, Darren, you're just. That's a fucking piece of trash, and I've been telling you this for so long. You just won't listen.
Dude, you're a freaking idiot. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't know tech at all, man.
It's falling apart. As we do this, we got Shane Bettenhausen outside of our window. He's like the king of the Sony side. Okay, so Darren, here's what you're not understanding. What PhysX's card's going to do, it's going to enable me to play games with an enhanced physics. I'm going to have, over 40 objects on screen moving at a single time. They're all going to be moving, not 10. You only got 10 right now. You only got 10. What are you going to do without physics card? Come on. That's the end of my story.
I can't.
You're just biased against it. If you weren't biased against it, you would have physics.
I can't.
Okay, we'll end
I can't even
I
keep a
swear to
straight
God,
face.
at times I think that's what people want. Mm-hmm. Like that's what we need to do.
All about the controversy.
Okay, so. Moving along now.
Actually, let me just say one last thing on this topic. Not even on the physics side, but more on the NetDevil side. Now, these are guys who, like, they come up with, like, one good idea after another, and they need to create a game that people are just going to get behind and buy. Because, like, Auto Assault, awesome game. Who was playing it?
Or they need to get someone who's got a game that everyone's going to buy to get behind them. Like, what if Crysis? But, I mean, even then, like, if it was an option, they would have, what if, like, Crysis comes out and it's like, you have to have, which they're never going to do that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's some kind of scenario like that. It would work, Right. I mean, it's like you had like the equivalent for the Wii for a lot of people in a category. It's like Zelda.
Yeah.
But I guess you don't have to have it. You can get the GameCube one. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's go back to
man.
let's
you don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You just opened yourself up for that.
Use some busted ass example like that, Zelda shit.
I'm so high. I don't even know I'm high,
dude.
Whoa.
Oh man.
All right, so. moving along. Let's. We ready to talk about now playing? We've all been playing a good amount of stuff. I mean, we've had a Christmas break to play, or a holiday break, if you will, to play as much stuff as we wanted. I got a whole lot of games in. Maybe I should start. I don't know.
Go for it. Please do.
Okay. So I guess I should talk about S.T.A.L.K.E.R first, since I already teased that. That game came in, and I don't know what the deal is, but it's not running very well for me. At first, when I started, it's having issues.
Have you tried
that's
it?
what we get. It's not the review code. Right?
Have you tried it on your home PC as opposed to the work one?
I don't dare, because my home PC is a piece of shit right now compared to the one I have here.
The one that I rejiggered for you?
That one's not working. Won't load Windows. Won't run Windows.
What the hell?
It worked for a day, and it enabled me to play some Dark Messiah at long last, because the work PC wasn't playing it. But I'll get to that in a second. So anyway, it did run well enough so that I was able to explore, try a few things out. And the coolest thing about S.T.A.L.K.E.R is, like, I mean, we've been writing about it and hearing it for so long, but I realized I never got to play it. And so as soon as I played, I'm like, wait a minute, this is cool. You know what this is? This is Oblivion FPS. And I mean, maybe for some reason, like, I guess when we wrote about it, no one ever said that. But, like, that's all I needed to know. Like, okay, that's what this game is about.
So explain what you mean by.
But so by saying that, it's like you start off in a basement. You're talking to a guy, and you go outside, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, this huge atmospheric world. It looks great. You can see for a million miles. The mountains aren't as high right from the beginning, so you don't know just how big it is. But what you do from there, where you go, is pretty much up to you. You can make some contacts in this town. Very, very, very cool. I mean, you approach someone, and if you have your gun drawn, they'll, like, pull their gun on you, and they'll react to you differently. They'll be like, what the hell, what do you want? So then, I'm getting there. So you talk to a guy, and he'll give you, like, hey, you want to here's something. You want to go meet up with my friends? I need them to come back here. So that might be your first official mission. You go and do that. You meet them, and they're like, hey, do you want us to just go back and talk to the guy for you, or do you want to hang out with us and we actually want to do this here? And then there's, like, the first branch. And you get yourself another...
Okay.
What's going on?
Oh, no, I was just giving a time check. That's
okay. All. So you get yourself another mission option there. So, for example, what happened? I'm out walking around, and, there are helicopters flying by. There's all these electromagnetic anomalies that I can kind of see in the distance, and leaves blowing around and the grass blowing and stuff, and it looks like it's about to rain. It definitely feels like end of the world scenario, which is really cool. I just read Cormac McCarthy's The Road.
Oh yeah,
which, it's got that awesome vibe to it.
So many guys have been recommending that.
Yeah, it's an awesome book, but it's got that vibe where you're just like, okay, like anyone you meet can be ready to kill you or eat you or whatever the case may be, and you need to survive in this environment. So it was very cool like that. But so I meet these guys, and they agree to don't hang out with me, and we'll act as a group. So we go into this next camp. And we find some squatters there, and we want to fight them. And this cool fight ensues. It's like I have the guys on my side helping me, and we're fighting them. And instead of them all being ready for us immediately, they have to get up from what they're doing. Some of them, like I caught one that somehow didn't wake up during the fight and was still sleeping over by a fire. And I woke him up, and he was confused. He didn't know if, like, I was there to kill him or if, like, what the hell was going on. So he didn't just start shooting me immediately, like shitty AI would do. And then, like, I lost. Everyone ended up getting killed except for me in that whole altercation. I'm kind of wandering around some more. And then, like, I see, I run into some weird mutant dogs that are out roaming around, and they're eating corpses. And then some other big, like, mutant hog things come, and then they start chasing the dogs. And then I piss them all off, and then they're all chasing me. So I run into this other town, and they come in, and then everyone in the town just starts fighting the monsters off and stuff. And it's just got that, I mean, like, maybe... I really don't know. It's only going to take a great deal of experience to see just how cool the AI is. And in the same way that with Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, they tagged it Radiant AI, and it was supposed to do this, that, and the other thing. And at the end of the day, maybe it didn't quite do all those things, but it did enough. But the fun part was when you first got that game, and when you get any kind of game like that, you don't know what the boundaries are. You have to push them and find out.
Right.
And so it was really cool for me at the point where I'm at now, is because I'm still pushing them. How big is this world? Like, just what is the AI capable of? But that kind of thing is never there in a game like, say, I mean, no knock on it, but like if you're playing, Call of Duty 3 or something, that just doesn't exist. You're basically going down a trail.
Oh, yeah.
And the contours of which are obscured to you because it's
to be honest,
propelled by the action. But in this, you definitely are like, I can do all these different things, and I have no idea what's going to happen. It's probably going to be fatal for me to try this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Is this all like a side quest you were going on, or was this like?
Yeah, that was just a side quest. And from the very beginning, the first guy you speak to, there are over 20 things you could choose to do from him.
Now,
the first guy is just kind of like a middleman for free agents.
Okay, so basically, just has a bunch of
all
missions
these.
on the board.
Here's a list of shit that people in this town basically want done. You could be the active agent for it and do any of these that you want.
Do you find that then this is actually it's kind of like the devil's advocate for one thing is like if you have too many options, can that be a problem too?
That's always the case, and what the thing that Oblivion did to handle that well, as we all know, was to delineate the primary missions and to set those aside from the side. So if you ever said, I just want to go through here and see the story and have it fed to me, you just continue to click and activate those primary missions, and I'm thinking it's very much the same.
Okay, so they took a bunch of notes from what Oblivion did right. And
that's what I'm thinking, but it's hard to know, though, too. I mean, it definitely feels like a game developed somewhere else. And it was developed in Ukraine, and so far it's a good thing to me. And I think I'm almost more forgiving. Like, I mean, when I shoot someone, so far when you start out the game, like pistol rounds they do jack shit. They barely hurt someone. A lot of times, and ammo's scarce, so I'm running around stabbing people. We have a few different knife attacks. It was hard for me to tell whether this is just a case of. I mean, I don't think it's a game where you actively level up. There's no such thing, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but where you have a level in the way that you do in Oblivion. So I'm thinking that they continue to let you have access to new areas and just to be stronger by the weapons and items that you get. That's my guess. But clearly something's going to happen because everything you do you're not going to be that much of a pussy,
Right.
But I did get I got a couple sawed-off shotguns from people that I killed, and those worked great. And then it's got that cool vibe where you wander off into some area and you're like, I definitely could tell I'm not supposed to be here. Like, the game is a little too difficult for me here. But maybe if I'm good or if I just play really conservatively, I can kind of survive and fit myself into this environment. Whereas that didn't really work in Oblivion because the whole world was scaled to your difficulty.
Yeah, I never liked that about Oblivion. I kill a rat somewhere, and then I come back later in that same area. I'm
and then it's the bear.
I'm level awesome, and all of a sudden, all the rats are scared out of town.
So I think it's got that, and it just definitely had that cool. I mean, there's something about that kind of game when you're not basically the chief spectator in a film or something. I mean, it really felt like whatever happens is going to be because I choose to go there, and something could be happening elsewhere. And
so it really does feel like the AI is actually operating without you.
Yeah, and I mean, you can go I did the GTA stuff that I've long been bored of since, But when it was fun when GTA 3 came out, and I crossed this broken bridge, and I couldn't even tell if I was supposed to be on the bridge, which was just the rad thing because it was fenced off, and I was like. In any other shooter, that the presence of that fence would indicate quit trying to go through there,
right?
Because that's where we were drawing the lines of this, and it's really just a facade. There's nothing behind it. But I actually found a way over the fence, and sure enough, I could roam around on the other side, and it was just part of the world. And I crossed over this big broken down bridge, but underneath it there was a camp of military guys, not just regular wanderers and stuff. And for the hell of it, I had a grenade on me that I had stolen from a body, and so I just threw it down on them. And blew them up, and it roused all the rest, and it kind of created this spontaneous adventure. All of a sudden, I got all these military dudes chasing me, and then I had to run a mile to escape them, and all of a sudden I roll into the next town, and I mean. So
it sounds pretty awesome. You just need.
It's pretty cool. I mean, it's definitely rough around the edges, but it looks really good too.
And this was the car that was going to show off. I forget. Was it originally it was a poster child for what DX8 was going to do? If I'm not mistaken.
And that was the thing. It was how this game is going to date so much because it's so old. But they're gone, and they're still doing passes. Some of the notes I got for the version I have is that the interiors they'd done all their normal mapping passes and and other passes inside, but not on a good deal of the outside. And you could really tell the inside was just really gorgeous, and the outside looked great as it was. But if they do go through and add successive passes, normal mapping and stuff, it's going to look even better. So it's definitely on my to-watch list. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. I mean, it's going to be a game I'm positive people will be able to complain about it all they want. People did that with Oblivion. But at the end of the day, I think if you want something that's not the same shit you've been playing over and over again, and you've got an open mind, it's probably going to be a really big, cult success, unless I'm wrong. And it ships the billion bugs and.
Well, okay. Besides the bugs, there's one thing. It's such a minor point, but the dialogue is broken, lost in translation stuff, or is it actually?
Fortunately, and I don't know what's going on, but it's all in. It's not Russian. What is it? Is it in Ukrainian?
I guess.
Yeah. So and it's translated in English with text. and that's fine. It reads fine, but better that than the like. Come on, guys, we must be strong and fight this enemy.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
you don't get any of that kind of shit, so that's good.
Actually, it's kind of interesting with subtitles.
Yeah,
Kind of like
You are in
foreign,
Chernobyl.
Subtitles
like
work
a
well.
foreign film.
I like subtitles.
yeah, because you don't know if it's bad acting or not. It just
Exactly.
sounds like pretty severe, like old grizzled dudes that just survived a Holocaust of some sort, So,
Very nice.
what else? I did quite a big speech on that, so I can pass over the other ones that I've been playing. Except to say, Pirates, Vikings, and Knights 2 is out for Steam, and it's a total conversion source mod. And as the name implies, one group of pirates, one group of Vikings, and one group of knights, and they all do battle. Beat the shit out of one another.
They see if they had pirates, Vikings, and ninjas.
And there we go. Okay, so we just set you up. What you don't know is that I had a bet with someone that when I brought this game up, was it going to be Darren or was it going to be Ryan that said the game needed more ninjas first?
Seriously.
So,
come on.
But Ryan is sitting there smiling because actually it was Ryan who said it first, because I slipped the other day and I mentioned I was playing it. The very first thing that came out of this dude's mouth was, needs ninjas.
He's right.
So he ended up winning, and he was like, okay, well, I don't feel like such a dork if you bring it up in the podcast, and Darren says it too.
So wait, who are you betting on?
I was betting on that you'd say it